morning, everyone. Sunday morning, heading out to the garage, go fire up the heat. Takes a couple hours for it to really warm up to a really nice workable temperature. It's about 8:30 Sunday morning. Hopefully gonna have a productive day. My GoPro battery died last night working on, I think I was welding up my shock mounts. Switch that out. The problems all us YouTubers have, you know? I take that little yellow heater that I used to use, plug this in. All right, so I get that little yellow heater going, brings the temperature up in the building, and then the furnace kicks on. Not really the way I thought I was gonna be doing it with the heating system, but that's okay. The heat's set at 58. So what I was working on last night before Allie and I went out to dinner for her birthday, late birthday dinner, I changed the layout of the headlight bar. If you remember before, it arched up and it was way out front. I cut the ends off, the cups where the headlights actually mount. I rotated it 90 degrees, so now it goes around the front of the grill shell. For the time being, until I get my bottle filled for my torch, I don't have the stanchion here off the frame. I had this round stock, this 1/2-inch round stock. I ended up just cutting this in half. I ended up cutting that piece of stock that I had in half. You can see where I had it mounted lower once. I ended up having to cut the welds and I raised it back up because there was interference with the shock mounts. So at this height, I can still get my shocks in and out on the car. Once I get my torch, my bottles filled right there, I bolted these together because there was really no way for me to clamp them onto the table. So once I get my bottles, I'll heat this here and bend this up. If I need to reuse these to get the height, I will. I may have to. I have another headlight bar up there. I don't know that I want to cut it and use it, but I like the height where they're at now. I think that's a good look. They're tucked a little bit further back. They're not sticking way out in front of the grill shell, which I like. Very desirable headlamps. Got a couple of good dings here. Pretty good whack right there. You know, when the time comes, I'll pop the lenses out, pop those dents out. Maybe hit them with some WD-40 and some steel wool. So I'll have some old chrome here and there on the car, you know. I wish these were old chrome, but they're not. So the windshield frame is on, all welded up, good enough for an old hot rod. See, I threw on a spreader bar. This was an old handrail that I took out of an old, like a trolley car out of a junkyard. It's old chrome. This is the remnants of it. Originally, what I used it for the first time was the spreader bar on my sedan. I had enough to make one more spreader bar, which was that one. It's not bolted on yet. So I thought if it's too much for this car, I'll take it off and I can always use it on Allie's Roadster in the future if I decide to. Oh, she kicked on. Nice. All right, it'll start warming up in here quick now. All right, guys, well, I'm gonna let the heat kind of do its thing for a little while. Let the building warm up. Gonna head in the house for a little bit. Kind of lay out a game plan if I can to try to figure out what I'm gonna do and start my day. But so far, I want to just get out here and get the heat turned on. Got a guy coming today to buy a few things. Got a guy that's interested in the Studebaker. A few people interested. I'm hoping that thing goes down the road and then make a couple of bucks on it, you know. I'll just put it back into maybe trying to buy another car. Alright guys, I'll be back in a little bit. See ya. What I'm doing is I'm going to start welding up the support, the structure piece here. And then I have this leftover stock. I'm going to create another one on the driver's side, same thing. But what I want to do is I just want to start welding up. I already started here. Just real quick, real small stitch welds. This is fairly thin wall stuff. I get the heat turned down. We'll start stitching it up. Alright, so what I'm working on right now, I just pulled out the Yes Welder, the plasma cutter. I cut a couple of the bolts out that were rusted that I couldn't get out otherwise. So that tool's coming in really handy at this point. What I need to do, I have this little bit of material left, which is the same material that I used to strengthen up this quarter. I need to do the same thing. I need to make some cuts, and I need to get it, I want to shape it the same contour as the skin on the quarter behind the B pillar. And then what I'll do is I'll get it set inside here. I'll get the cuts welded. I'll weld it to the bottom of this structure that I added earlier, and then I will add a foot that comes off of this, and that welds onto the sill panel, the sill plate, or the outer sub rail. I'm going to get this cleaned up real quick and make some cuts. And like I said, just get it to shape, the same shape of the contour as the quarter panel, and then get this piece welded in place. Now I don't need to remove it. Alright, so now I have access, so I don't know if you can see down here, but you can see the top of the sub rail. I want to add some structure, so I'll add a foot that comes off of this to here. So let me get this cleaned up and get this welded in place. I'm really trying to just add a lot of strength and integrity to that passenger side quarter. It was broken. Probably just to refresh your memory, it had a pretty good crack in the metal, and that crack, that quarter of the skin is kind of flexing a little bit, and I need to eliminate that so the door will shut and latch the way it's supposed to. So that's what I'm working on, and that's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm going to grab my Eastwood SCT, my Contour SCT, and I'm going to get that piece of box tubing cleaned up. I think I'm going to add another cord plug strip to the other side of the table, so I have them on both sides. The cords on these tools just aren't quite long enough. I'm right at the max. Kind of figure out the layout of where I'm going to make my cuts like I did on the top support piece. Really difficult to bend box tubing because it'll just crush and collapse on itself. So I've got to make a few cuts to try to create a bend so we can get it to follow the contour of that quarter panel. I'm going to start with every 2 inches and then see what I can get for contour out of that. If I get enough, then great. If not, I'll add a cut every inch, or in the areas where I think I need them. See see how that works. I'm going to wait to cut the bottom. You want to see where I'm at? Alright, so I've got a little bit of work to do on the bottom to get this to notch down in, set down in. It's hitting the top of the sub rail. It's going to go down about a quarter of an inch. Let's go notch this out real quick. So can you see what I did there? How I notched it out? So towards the quarter panel needs to slide down in between the quarter panel and the sub rail. It's pretty good. I don't want to push out the quarter panel. I mean, that'll work. I could probably slice it one more time, but I don't think I really need to. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to clean the top of the sub rail, get that cleaned up so I can get the foot made. I'll get this thing, I'll start to weld this up, I'll get the foot made, get this all cleaned up, get that welded in place. We'll get this welded in place. I'm happy with the way that's fit. Alright, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to weld the sides here. Get those welded up. Those are fitting pretty much the way I want it to. Bring the camera over and show you what I'm talking about.
I don't know how good you can see that. The camera sometimes doesn't work that great. You see that support piece follows the contour, except right at the top up here. It kind of comes out a little bit, but that's actually okay. So I just need to weld up all these slices.
What I'm going to need to do is I'm actually going to need to get more of this material so I can do the same thing on the driver's side. The driver's side seems to close just fine without the support, but I'd like to add to it so I know in the future. Alright, let's get this welded up. I'm going to get these welds grinded down real quick now because otherwise I won't have access to them. And then once that's done, I'm going to get this tacked in place on the top. I'm going to build my foot on the bottom for the sub rail. And then once that's all in and welded, then I'll weld these. I don't want this structure to bend anymore. So I want to try to get it set in place before I weld across the middle. Well, I got that piece welded in place, but unfortunately my battery on my camera died and I didn't know it. So now what I'm going to do, I need to find a piece of angle iron or just some flat stock and make a couple brackets for that. So I'm going to make some templates real quick. I'm going to grab the plasma cutter and I'm going to cut out a couple of brackets for the bottom of that and then get those welded onto it. And that should really strengthen up that quarter panel pretty good. I think I'll be able to pull this off at that point and see where we're at. Alright, just got a small piece of ram board off my roll. I kind of guessed at this contour here, which is the outside of the skin, the quarter panel. Alright, that's what I'm going to do right there.
So that is going to be my bracket, or where it's going to connect to the sub rail. I'm going to make 2 of them for now. I'll save this for the driver's side. This is the reason why I think most guys have a plasma cutter, for things like this, making brackets. So let's go trace it out and get it cut out of some steel. I'm going to get a small cart to put this on. I also want to clean my table, because then I'll just be able to clamp my frame on my table and I don't have to worry about ground clamping everything. I believe I have some 1/8 inch flat stock in the top shop. I'm going to run up there to see if I have any. I'm pretty sure I do. And going to get back down here and get these brackets laid out and cut. Minutes, seconds. It didn't take me a minute. I'm gonna clean them up real quick with a flap disc, and I'm gonna get them welded in the car. These will go like this. Let's go see. It's a little too thick. This side's good. So on this side, it's pushing the quarter panel out. Oh, it's because of this bracket there. So what I'll do, because I only made the template on this side, that's why. All right, let's get this one welded in place, then I'll modify this one. All I have to do is just kind of shave this edge down. This is the original mount that mounts there, and that's what's interfering with it. I'm going to get this one narrowed down a little bit so it'll fit inside the quarter panel. Alright, I'm going to go see if that'll fit real quick. It's still pushing the quarter out just a little bit. I like a little easier here. That should do it. There we go. So something like that. All right, let's get that one welded in place. All right, here's the test. All right, we're failing. All right, well, it's got a nice clean line now. That was kind of what I was hoping, but I was hoping it would shut without using this latch. Seems like there's a lot of pressure on that latch. I mean, it's nice and stiff, but it's not closing like I wanted it to. Well, that kind of bums me out. Now I got to figure out why. See the line, see the contour seems to follow pretty good. It is, you know, it's really dented in right here. This was the reason why I needed to add this structure. That side's not cracked, that side's fine. This side's got this big crack in here, and that's what was causing all the issues. I mean, it shuts if you slam it. Got a lot of metal work to do. This is all gone. The body's nice, but it's not perfect. Obviously, I gotta do this. Back to here. Quarter panels. I don't know. You know what? I may just have to live with it the way it is. Get this here. A lot of movement. Show you guys compared to the driver's side. The driver's side's just, you know, no additional structure, just the factory structure. What the hell? It was better before I touched it. I don't want the doors to be popping open, you know? Yeah, I'd just like to figure out what's going on. It's like real tight, whereas there's a little bit of slop in the other door. I'm not gonna worry about it. It is what it is. It's better. It's structurally, it's good, it's solid. The door opens, closes, and latches. At the end of the day, it's a win. The only thing I want to make sure. So I want to make sure my seat isn't going to interfere with this bracket. If it does, I'll have to notch that. I'll probably notch the seat. It'd be easier to notch the seat. So let's throw that seat in here real quick and see what issues I may have to correct, if any. Fits just like I had hoped. Plenty of space here. Plenty of space. Cool. Alright, well, I'd say that's good. That's done. What's next? What's next? Column drop? Why don't we do that column drop next? I can get that column drop done, fixed, done. Then I can finish up the pedals. I can do the aluminum on the dash. I think I may do aluminum door panels, and then these quarter panels here. Let me cover these in aluminum too. In the future, I have the aluminum, I have the plasma cutter now, so it'll make things go a lot quicker. You know, and it'll really make the car look a lot nicer. Column drop. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna end things here. I'm gonna end this video here. The reason being is I need to take a ride down to Tractor Supply to get some welding materials. I need a new nozzle on my welder, and I also need some new tips. Oh, that's cool. I just threw my safety glasses underneath my toolbox. I mean, you know, because that's the types of things I do. So I think I'll maybe see if Allie wants to take a ride to Tractor Supply. Whoop. Hey! Speak of the she-devil. Hi, honey.
Do you want me to heat you up some lunch?
Ooh, you're amazing.
I know.
I know you know. Yeah, actually, I was going to come in and I was going to see if you wanted to take a ride down to Tractor Supply. I got to get a few things.
Okay.
Get you out of the house.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to shut my bottles off and I'll be right up. Be there in 5 minutes.
All right, everybody.
Bye. All right, everyone. Like I was saying, I'm going to end this video here. I got the passenger side door structure structurally better. The door isn't closing exactly how I want it to, but that just may be a little bit of a, you know, adjustment on the hinge, a little bit of tweaking here and there. But the door, the quarter panel isn't flimsy now, and that was a big thing that I needed to get off my list. It's done. The next step I'm going to work on is I'm just going to modify. I'm going to keep the column drop, but what I want to do is I want to make it so it's straight across. So basically I need to modify the dash and just to drop this. I don't really want to drop it down any. I don't know. We'll figure it out, but that's going to be the next project, is getting the steering column mounted, 100% done. Once that's done, I'll be able to work on the dash. I can get the pedal assembly finished. I got to add some material to the cross member that I removed. And headlight stands. I need to get gas for my torches. Need to get the other gas tank put in, which is here. Can finish up some of the sheet metal in the trunk. All the sheet metal work is done, but I need to get things welded in place or screwed down in place, however I'm going to do it. It's good to be back on the car, making some progress. I kind of had a lot of stuff on this lens. I got to be careful with this camera. I got some tempered glass lens protectors coming for my GoPro. So thanks again for watching. Appreciate everybody following along. It's good to be back on the car, back in the garage, actually working in the garage, not on the garage. You know, spring's coming, a couple months away, I hope. You know, March, April, things really start to warm up quite a bit. So I'm looking forward to that. And looking forward to getting this car so I can drive it. It would be nice to be able to get this thing done. Be able to throw this car outside in my either underneath a lean-to or in my little canvas canopy thing outside. Got my buddy Pete's coop in there right now just for storage. But it'll free up some space in the garage and I can get back to work on the 34. Thinking about bringing the 34 down here just because there's just so much more room, especially if this car's out of here. If I bring the 34 down here, I'll take the 30 coupe and I'll put that car back up in the top garage and you know, keep it out of the work area. So who knows, maybe things will be flipped around. This was always going to be the storage building and that was going to be the working building, but now that things are kind of shaping up down here, I mean, it's 60 degrees in here today. I got the heat going, set at 60, and it's comfortable. I mean, I don't need my hat, I'm just wearing it. So things are really headed in this direction, so I'm pretty happy with that. It's not something I planned on doing anytime soon, but like you guys know, it just, things seem to kind of snowball. So thanks again for watching. Appreciate you guys following along. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. You guys get notified when I put up another video. You guys know the deal. Hey, you know, broken record type of deal, but you know, with YouTube, they want you to interact with your subscribers and they want to see the channels grow. And you know, the more your channel grows, the more YouTube does for you, and the more other companies reach out to you that want to either sponsor the channel, do collaborations. Just it makes all the time that guys like myself put into these channels worth it. So again, if you haven't subscribed, it would be pretty cool for you to subscribe. Doesn't cost you a penny. Just go back to my homepage and hit subscribe, hit the button. That's it. Doesn't cost you anything. It's free. Alright guys, I'm gonna go up, grab some food, grab some lunch. Me and Ellie gonna take a ride, go grab some stuff from Track Supply so I can keep things moving forwards on the car. See you guys soon. Take care. Bye bye.